How's it going, guys? Welcome back to West of Loathing. I don't remember exactly what my next step was, so I'm just gonna go bomb around for a minute and try to remember what it was I had to take on next here. Ooh, I have more science junk for Florence, and just more experience. Nothing too crazy. Holy cow, a counterclockwise phase inversion coil. I've been looking all over for one of these. Florence attaches one of the science doohickeys you gave her to her weird gun. Her damage has increases and she now has science blast. Which, someone said that if I choose to fight any of these ghosts, then she will take part in the battle. Otherwise, she just kind of hangs back and does her own thing. So at some point here, I've got to decide which one of these ghosts I like the least, so we can just kind of blow them away. But I feel like it'll be more fun and more humor to try and help as many of them as possible. You give the elevator operator the button you found, and she sticks it into the empty buttonhole on the elevator control panel. How many people do you have to set on fire to recover that button? Jeez, you sure know how to hold a grudge. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this to be such a long-running hatred here. Apparently, she's not a big fan of being blown to bits. I'm curious if I would have hurt her in some other way using the dessert torch, and that she would have been just like holding this over my head the whole time anyways, just being this infuriated elevator operator no matter what. The elevator operator glares at you. Which floor do you want to ruin next? The third floor will be totally new. Third floor is where I want to go. That'll be totally new for us. I tried to say floor and new at the same time. Susie, I always want your hot take on our new areas. Guess this is where everyone's bedrooms are. Man, this place just keeps going. I ain't feeling great about snooping around in folks' private lives like this. Well, you're helping get rid of all the ghosts, right? That doesn't count as snooping. What about when you open all them cabinets and drawers? There might be little ghosts in there. You never know where they're gonna hide. They could be sneaky as heck. This overly happy donkey looks a little bit like if there was a like black furred donkey from Shrek. I always hated these things because it's an ass, because it's a donkey. The photo as a whole, is it one of those ones where the eyes like follow you? No, nothing like that. I'm not sure why this guy hates it so much. There's a weird, specific hatred to seem to hold. It's only cows in this world that are evil. You don't have to hold that over the heads of, like, horses and donkeys and other four-legged creatures. It looks so calm, so tame. Such a quiet little turtle. Ooh, a walrus. Formidable tusks. I'm curious who in this Western world has ever seen a walrus. I'm curious to meet someone who's so adventurous. A curious gaze. Okay, so this one is definitely Curious George, and so that makes me start to wonder if all of these are references to very specific tales. Damn, this is a nice painting. Well, that's very generally just a beaver thing, and he's all ears. That one's a little weaker on a scale of funny little animal puns, but I can dig it. It's short and to the point. This sunflower was enchanted, did not need natural light, so now it's an unflower. I mean, it is still a flower. It didn't become not a flower. It just doesn't get any of that sweet S anymore. The kids' rooms, music room, I didn't actually investigate what all the rooms were. Mrs. Gunn herself and Mr. Gunn. Going straight for the kids' rooms feels horribly inappropriate. Mrs. Gunn. She's kind of the one that a lot of this focuses around, so let's see what's up. This door is locked and no earthly force can open it. Well, maybe a whole team of horses, but good luck getting those up the elevator. You know what they say, you can't take a cow upstairs or downstairs maybe, and you can't take a horse on an elevator. Neither of those works. The second one's just a lesser known fact. Knock knock. It's funny that we get the door panel to talk to. Yes, who is it? Mrs. Gunn? I'm the grimy slinger. Are you with the ghost extermination people? Yes, ma'am. Florence Cunningham. Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services. The grimy is my assistant. I'm your what? Who's the county licensed ghost hunter here? Me or you? Okay, fine. I guess. Have you been able to exterminate all the ghosts? I still feel haunted. 13 of them left, according to the scanner. We're still working on it, ma'am. Don't worry, you can count on us. Alright, please let me know when you've finished. Will do, ma'am. That is a tall order. 13 whole ghosts before she's willing to meet with us. I wonder if any of them are out in the hedge maze. Mr. Gunn is much more welcoming to random strangers barging into his room, it would seem. Maybe the ghosts already got him. That would kind of stop him from putting up a fight, you know? This sofa is tacky, both in terms of style and stuff that's been spilled all over it. Yeah. Guess this is where Mr. Gunn hung out. Heck of a thing to have a whole separate room for each of your individual hobbies. What do you mean? Is that what those two other rooms over there are? For a second I was just thinking that they have separate bedrooms, of which I was very envious. I love having a bed to myself. They probably ended up with so many rooms in the house, they had to struggle to think of what to put in all of them. Is that what do you call it? A meta commentary? No. I mean, you're not just gonna have endless amounts of... You literally could have had endless amounts of leisurely rooms. If it was just like a giant mansion anyways, why can't there be like a billiards room and a pool and a craft shop and a place where you look at tumbleweed? I don't know what kind of hobbies people had in the Old West. No meta commentary going on there. It's totally applicable only to the game world and nothing outside of it. From the smell of it, Mr. Gunn mostly burned garbage in this thing. Well, that's not normally what you should put in there. Is this him with the arm not fully attached to his shoulder there? It's a humidor full of cheap cigars. Don't mind if I do. If they're cheap anyways, why not? Looks a heck of a lot like a baguette. Oh, it doesn't even have like one of those little paper things on it to say that it's authentic or official in any way. It's cheap as they come. This is a cigar for people who want, for some reason, to appear to have spent a lot of money on a disgusting habit without actually spending a lot of money on it. Grab another one. Can I eventually just fill it up? You've got plenty of them at this point. Okay, but what if I leave and come back? You've got plenty. I'm not allowed to take more. 3 seems like a lot. Myself, Susie, and Florence can all smoke up to celebrate once we've gotten rid of all these ghosts. I'd offer one to Buffalo Bill, but I think the lack of lungs might ruin his enjoyment, at least slightly, maybe just a little bit. Weird. If you were going to commission a painting of swords, you'd think you'd at least ask for nice swords. Just plain boring ass swords, are they? Very critical. Are these just drunk flashes around this dude's head? The guy doesn't notice you approaching until you're right next to him. He yelps in surprise and drops his glass on the floor, then squints unsteadily at you. Then he takes a maraschino cherry from a bowl in the bar cart and throws it at your head. Hey, stop that. Sorry, just making sure you're not one of them ghosts. And he drops another cherry into a fresh glass and pours a lot of whiskey on top of it. Are you one of the museum employees? Yep, that's me. What are you doing in here? Hiding. Buddy, I don't know if maybe you didn't notice, but this house has got ghosts in it. You don't say. Oh, a bunch of them, all over. So I don't know about you, but I'm staying right here, where it's nice and drunk. I mean safe. Wouldn't you rather get out of here? No, all the booze, that is booze. I'm really scared of when ghosts go boo, you know? They'll get me if I leave this room. Not the ghosts, just the booing. There aren't even ghosts between this room and the exit. So you say. Said. That's what you said, but they're ghosts. They could be anywhere. Except in here. Exactly. I ain't leaving without a guarantee that those ghosts won't grab me on the way out. How about a quick disguise with that shower curtain? Here, look. We'll use this white shower curtain to disguise you as a ghost. Then they won't bother you on your way out. That's a mighty fine idea. But I just need to know one thing. Can I take the liquor with me? We got a Jim Leahy character going on here. He tosses back his drink and pours another. But, oh, eye holes. That curtain's got no holes for my eyes. I wouldn't be able to see. I'm starting to think you don't actually want to leave. No. Where'd you get that idea? It's terrible in here. Shoot some holes in the curtain. That's quick thinking. Nice and efficient. There's no faster way to do it, honestly. Hopefully you hold it up and don't do it while it's on the guy's head. Like, set it to the side first. Aim at a nice harmless wall. where, you know, a bullet flying through the wall of a building never hurt anyone before. You'll be fine. You narrow your eyes at him and blast some holes in the curtain with your pistol. Okay, jeez, I get the picture. He grabs an armload of bottles from the cart, pulls the shower curtain over his head, and staggers out the door. You can just picture them, like, all clacking and clamoring together underneath his curtain as he just stumbles out of here, just, you know, drunk as the day he was born. 75 experience? Good. We did a good thing. Well, we can still rifle around. He didn't take absolutely everything, although we've been pretty loaded up on booze, like... We have an insane amount of that stuff in our inventory. The museum employee has drunk a lot of this cart's contents, but there's a few bottles left. You got Manly's finest cotton candy schnapps. He must have only read the first part of the label before he decided to buy this. He wanted Manly's finest. Increases speed by 17 for the rest of the day. That's actually, like, pretty steep. I have to keep going back and checking all the things that I eventually did end up investing in, which I was trying to be very choosy about. I guess I don't have a lot of speed increases. I thought that was something I had. I thought for sure I had something that added to my speed. Oh, there we go. The copy. But that's like, and the AP. The max AP is actually really, really important there too. But I really didn't have as nearly as much as I thought that added to speed. Oh my goodness. Mr. Gunn's bowling room. Bowling is good. I agree, and I'm very stoked to play ghostly bowling. That sounds awesome. This poster is clear in its artistic intent, but not very imaginative. I was trying to see, like, is there a pun? Is there anything more to it? Nope. No, it's just a very plain, hard to argue with feeling, I would say. This bowling stuff is extremely broken. It's not supposed to be flying around, even a little bit. I want to wander around and see if there's alternatives to fighting it before I fight. I would love to bowl it to fix it. That seems like it would be a much more fun alternative. This is where the bowling balls would come back out of this if this thing was working. Big red button that says to reset. See, not quite. Hey. Oh, good. Thank goodness it's just one thing that has to be fought, because if I had to fight every individual bowling pin and everything, this would be much more difficult. Oh! I wonder, there was just a patch that went live, like, literally today, and so I'm wondering if one of the things that was in the patch notes, which I have to flip over and check here, I wonder if one of the things was Florence not showing up in your party. Which also, side note, because 11, sorry, is a significant thing to the West of Loathing world. This is patch 1.11.11.1. Oh no, do you know what's actually going on here? Is the Boltergeist. I almost forgot to look at its name. This is just the first ghost type enemy we fought, so we can finally see what Florence's different skills and stuff are. We've taught her a few. Regular shooting pistol that just does terrible damage. The Enlightenment field, Florence will use her weird backpack to increase your party's mysticality, and Florence will shoot all the enemies for 13 damage with the Science Blast. Let's blast it with some science. Sounds nice and cool. It's exhilarating, but I would imagine that 3 damage, or 13 even, just is not going to go very far. Knowledge is power, but in this particular case, it's not nearly as much power as just a bunch of guns. Ashes to ashes, pins to pins, bowling ball hat. This bowling ball fractured in an unlikely but convenient way. It would be convenient for anyone who didn't already have a very committed hat on their head. The Pinomat XR86. Oh, good. The XR85 was complete trash. Is that the extent of the bowling ball room? Oh, no, now I can probably reset. So now we can actually maybe try and bowl? Oh, you can just load up, like, endless amounts of things to fight. It's another whirling mass of malevolent bowling equipment. I wonder if I just do a couple of these real quick, just to give Florence the excuse to level up a little bit. I feel like there's a... And I can get some items out of it, too, so there's that as well. A bowling ball chunk. This chunk of bowling ball isn't big enough to do anything with it other than throw it at something. This item is used in combat. Deals damage equal to your muscle. That ain't so bad. I'm curious what other fun, exciting little items maybe we can gain from killing all these sorts of things. Maybe one time we literally just get the hole, like the hole out of the bowling ball. I don't seem to be specifically leveling up Florence, because I kind of figured we'd be fighting very high-level versions of these enemies, so that they would be dishing out a lot of experience relative to the level that Florence is at, unless her level also scaled to our level. So that could be all it is. Well, I don't think dealing with any more of these is worth it. They don't seem to be changing from one to the other, so I'm going to move on from that until someone specifically asks for, like, multiple chunks, you know? Do we have, like, Smokey the Bear and Bullwinkle on the wall here? I think Bullwinkle was the moose, not Rocky. So many polyesters die just to decorate rooms like this. It's not actually a tiger rug, it's just made out of materials. It's a teddy bear, not Smokey the Bear. This is the head of a teddy bear. They didn't even remove the tag. A good way to trick people, isn't it? They're thinking that maybe you're a big game hunter, you're a big manly man. And so everything in here is just fake though, right? I appreciate that a lot more than real taxidermied animal heads. Just not a thing that appeals to me. One of this moose's eyes is loose. So Elliot Moose is on the loose and the moose's eye is loose. Pop it out. Pop. Now it's really got its eye on you. The glass eye. This is either a prosthetic eye made of glass or a very macabre marble. Macabre. Macabre. I think my first pronunciation was good enough. It's sickening. Killing a helpless sofa and stuffing its carcass as a grisly trophy. The only thing in here that was actually a real living thing at any one point. Life isn't easy for a one-eyed moose. And what about this giant duck? Oh, it's a horse-sized duck, right? Wow, you hope you never meet a live duck this big. Would you rather fight a 1,000 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? This is it. We found it. We found the horse-sized duck. I love it. That's amazing. These antlers are made of paper mache, apparently by someone who had never seen antlers before. I was kind of thinking that wasn't really an appropriate level of, like, fragmenting and stuff. I'm sure there's a term for the way that the antlers prong out, and it's not this. Do we have a living goblin head on the wall here? There's a goblin head mounted like a trophy on the wall. This would be positively barbaric, if not for the fact that the goblin seems pretty okay with it. Boo! Ha ha ha! Pretty good I am to getting you, huh, human? I forgot how janky goblins talk. Wow, yes, very much to getting me. Nice. What did happening to you? Did Mr. Gunn hunting you and to cutting head off? No, Mr. Gunn, a good human man is being. Very friends. Inside one of his bowling ball bags, my spore to growing. Only headroom. Mr. Gunn is finding me and hanging me up here for to chatting with. Great guy. So it's like when you put like a koi or a goldfish in a bowl versus in a pond, it's going to grow to fit its environment. Goblins do that, but it starts with the head. Wow, weird. And simultaneously amazing. Careful with the knife games there, dude. You're going to stab yourself right in your... I don't really know how hands work in this game. Do we still have fingers? It's hard to say. A whole rack of bowling trophies. If they were billiard trophies... there'd be an easier pun to make. I don't know exactly how. I don't know what pun you would have went for with billiards. Are you just saying that's a very flexible word? Perhaps. We continue our mission of turning off all the lights here. You can tell this is fake because it isn't floating around the room setting stuff on fire. I was wondering if they like de-demonized it, so they manized it. This is just a photograph of a fish. Mr. Gunn was apparently really liberal with his definition of trophy. You wouldn't have to be Mr. Gunn, would you? This ghost is dressed up in a traditional safari hunter with the pith helmet and the big white mustache and those weird khaki trousers that make it look like your butt has wings. Oh yeah, they kind of do that, don't they? I wouldn't know. It's hard to say if that's extra flattering or the complete opposite, if it just takes away from the whole appeal of an otherwise great-looking butt. He's inspecting Mr. Gunn's trophy collection, but doesn't seem particularly impressed. Probably because this guy goes for the real deals, I'd say. Hi, I'm the grimy slinger. Oh, charmed, I'm sure. Lord Euston Camdenton at your service. It's time for the hunter to become the hunted. I would almost be tempted to fight this guy just for the cool guy line, just the action hero line there. He kind of has 3 dots on his head, as if he had a bowling ball hat, but no, it's just a part of, what did he call it? His pith hat. Did not know that's what they were called. What happened to you, if you don't mind me asking? No, not at all, not at all. Though, it isn't a very exciting story, what? I was hunting lions in the plains of the Serengeti, so I'm guessing it's like the Serengeti mixed with spaghetti, kind of harkening back to like the pastomancer of the days of old of Kingdom of Loathing. That might be a literal environment in that game. I don't know that game well enough, but that's my thinking, and I love it. And one of the blighters got the better of me. Wow, you were eaten by a lion? That sounds pretty exciting to me. Yes, well, not eaten as such. Sneaky bugger crept into camp and pushed a stack of ammunition crates over on me. Oh, maybe I can help you get revenge on all the lions. Help me do what? Well, help you with whatever's keeping you as a ghost? Though, now that I say it, I guess there isn't much I can do to help you get revenge on that lion. Oh, no, it isn't revenge that's keeping me here. Good for that lion, I say. Turnabout is fair play and all that, eh, what? I like this guy's attitude towards hunting, that, you know, if you make it a level playing field, if maybe you don't use guns, you resort to just like the fisticuffs with the lion, and if he happens to sneak up on you, then hey, you were probably going to sneak up on him. That's the right way to do the hunting, I think. No, I do wish he'd done it in a manner that made for a better story. So why are you a ghost then? Oh, it's because of my one true regret. I never faced the most dangerous game. I'm definitely not going to help you hunt people. What? No, the most dangerous board game. Nobody was ever willing to play against me. A bally shame, eh, what? Well, what is the game? It leads you over to a small table on which is laid out a board of alternating red and black squares. Is it literally just checkers? With little wooden discs painted red and black as well. Checkers? The checkers jump and scatter as the ghost stabs 2 large hunting knives into the center of the board. Knife checkers. Oh, so maybe he wasn't just playing knife games between his, like, quote fingers. What are the rules? Do you know how to play checkers? Yes. Do you know how to stab someone in the hand with a knife? I would venture a guess as to yes. That's all you need to know, really. Alright, I'll play. You've convinced me. This sounds worth it. Oh, I was hoping there'd be an actual little mini-game. You yank out one of the knives out of the board, and Lord Euston instructs you to hold it left-handed. The rules are you may only attack your opponent's hands, and only when they are over the board. Displaced checkers are played from where they land. But attacking the board directly is a foul, which awards the opponent a stab-free turn. It appears to be primarily a game of concentration, quick movements, and feinting. Playing aggressively sounds fun, and I mean I have the skills to do it, so I would want to know if it plays out a little longer one way or the other, depending, because I would like the longest version of it to see how it plays out, but we'll do the aggressive. You start out the game by attacking quickly and fiercely to establish dominance and keep your opponent from developing his pieces. This strategy is somewhat effective, but Lord Euston doesn't scare easily, and he manages to feint a few pieces past your guard. You enter the mid-game, more or less evenly matched. Play intelligently or play instinctively. Instinct, I think, would be like your quick reflexes and stuff to get your hand out of the way of intense aggressive stabbings, but I'll go intelligently. In the mid-game, you focus more on the checkers. Oh yeah, I forgot that. I forget what the beginning part of it is, but mid-game and end-game are checkers, or sorry, chess terms? Maybe they also apply to checkers. I only learned that when they announced that Avengers 4 was going to be called Endgame, and people were like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. It's like they were playing a game of chess against Thanos this whole time, kind of like outmaneuvering him, thinking later in the game they were like willing to lose the mid-game so that they could win the end game. And that's kind of what like is going on here a little bit. In the mid-game, you focus more on the checkers than on your knife work, maneuvering into a position for some big gains in the long term. You suffer a few minor nicks and cuts, but are well positioned for the end game. You're not getting your hand stabbed straight due or anything, right? It's just like little nicks. I can live with that. Maybe it's a blunted knife, or maybe we're like just cutting it very close. Play craftily. Well, I gotta lean on the moxie. Lord Euston spots a hole in your defenses. He feints left, then quickly slides... I've never heard of feinting in checkers. Then quickly slides one of his pieces into the gap, and into your trap. This moves his hand into just the position you need to attack it with a hard downward stab. He easily yanks his hand out of the way, and your knife hits one of your pieces on its edge, flipping it across the board to land neatly in his back rank. King me. Is that a legit strategy you're allowed to pull? You're allowed to start, like, pogging your checkers across the board? This is an intense game. I definitely want to play it. And if this is the end of it, it's the first time we've actually finally helped one of these ghosts. I say it's a foul to attack the board. Sure, but I wasn't, was I? I attacked your hand and you dodged, that's all. Well, I feel like we were never, like, even if you attacked it unintentionally, that was still, like, a no-go, right? The rules are you may only attack your opponent's hands and only when they are over the board. Displace checkers. Oh, okay, well, we weren't actually attacking the board directly. I guess there's no reason that you would ever want to do that. I guess just to mix up, like, to make the checkers kind of fly around and things like that. You sneaky blighter. Play continues, but with a king behind Lord Euston's lines, you clean up fairly quickly. Alright, lad, I concede. Marvelous play, eh, what? Well done. He gives you a smart salute and fades away into nothingness. I wonder what kind of magical knife that was letting us stab a ghost's hands. Whew. Good going there. That came together quite swimmingly for us. That was definitely the easiest thing we ever could have done to help one particular ghost. So I'm glad to finally scratch one off the list there that hadn't... we weren't getting through things very quickly, that's for sure. Billiards. A spittoon. It's actually like sparkling and stuff. Like, look, finally a new spittoon. You've been waiting. You've been waiting the entire expansion, like 2 whole hours to find a new spittoon. Oh, I almost went straight past this. This end table bears the scars of many uncoastered beverages. Oh, that brings a heaviness to my heart. Looks comfy. Too bad you're a bit too busy to sit down. It's a rack of billiard cues. I will grab one. It's a rack of billiard cues, but you've already got one. I must have clicked past. Wobbly billiards cue. I don't want one that's like limp, a flaccid billiards cue. The thing about people who buy billiards tables is that they are almost never the kind of people who will properly maintain their cues. This cue does not provide evidence to the contrary. So rather than it being dull, it's just like weirdly wiggly is what I'm gathering from this. This is both the biggest and dumbest poster you've ever seen. I mean, I get what they're doing with it. It's funny, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. You there. Hey there, how's it going? I ain't interested in chit-chat, fella. Just billiards. Step up or shut up. Yeah, I'm in a gaming mood today, so I will challenge you right here, right now. You pull out your cue, and the ghost nods and racks the balls. And then he also puts the triangle around all of the billiards on the table and puts them into place. He utterly trounces you. You just can't seem to make the balls go where you intended. That was as sad a showing as I've ever seen. Let me see that cue. Yeah, that's your problem. This thing's about as straight as a banker's handshake. What? You're gonna need to lath this back to true if you want a chance against me. Lath? Give it a quick polish? Do you think maybe you could rack those balls a bit for me? That might get it going. Alright, well, I could just fight him. But we'll see if we can improve our cue. And before we round out the episode, let's investigate our brand new spittoon. There's a spittoon here. A bright, shiny, beautiful spittoon. Gimme. Oh boy, oh yeah, come to Papa. What are you doing? Huh? Oh, nothing. What are you doing? Looking at someone who's kneeling next to a spittoon with the apparent intention of sticking his whole entire face inside. Dive on in. You jam your hand. Oh, I unrequited as an achievement. You jam your hand into the spittoon up to the shoulder. How does this thing go down into the floor like that? And find nothing. Crap. The brass bucket is shiny and clean outside and clean as the day it was born. The museum staff must have washed it. It looks brand new. Are you crying? No, I'm fine. You're crying. Okay, well, I'll just be over here, and whenever you're done lying on the ground in a fetal position and hugging a spittoon, fine. Just leave me to it. I'm just gonna need a moment, okay? I've never had to deal with this trauma before. Oh, that's why it's sparkling. It wasn't like enticing me like, look, what secrets and treasures might I be holding waiting for you to add to your overflowing inventory? What new wonders could I bring to the table to maximize your abilities and make you better than you've ever been as a person? No, it was just empty. There was no pain and there was no gain. What a letdown. Maybe we should just spit in it. Why wasn't spitting in it an option? We could get the ball rolling on that, you know? We could spit on it angrily. Well, I wish there was something in it. I wish there was spit at least in this thing. Just hawk a big loogie in it, you know? What a damn shame. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Got plenty more to explore. We've literally only helped one ghost, so we got all kinds left to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you again soon.